The upcoming matchup between Ajagba and Bakole on May 3rd in Saudi Arabia is already generating significant excitement, hinting at a tumultuous event in the heavyweight division. This boxing spectacle promises to be one of a kind in this modern era, with substantial stakes for both competitors, particularly for Bakole, following his recent knockout defeat to Parker. The question remains, who will claim the prestigious opportunity to challenge for Dubois' belt in this forthcoming world-class IBF final eliminator boxing encounter? This is a very tricky question which, in my opinion, will remain unanswered till both men finally get into the ring on the fight night. The fight between Ajagba and Bakole is a totally different type of fight. Very different in many ways, with a specific context and a unique narrative that will soon go down in boxing history. Speculations on the potential winner come May 3rd have blown up as one of the most discussed boxing topics across various boxing YouTube channels, over the internet and numerous social media platforms. Opinions on the potential outcome of this fight vary significantly from one individual to another, and are simply sometimes based on one desire or longing to see one particular fighter win over the other. Hello fight fans, welcome to this new episode of Knockout Kills Boxing News, dedicated to our technical analysis and predictions for the fight between the King of Scotland, Bakole, and the silent roller, Ajagba. To begin with, please kindly remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Consider this video as a second opinion from a boxing fan online. The matchup, Bakole and Ajagba on the other card of Canelo Alvarez and William Skull, on its own already resonates with some major havoc ready to happen on May 3rd in Saudi Arabia. This is because of the level of toughness of these two African giants. This is said to be a banger, better still, one of the most thrilling and exciting fights in 2025. In which somebody is definitely going to sleep. Some sort of a boxing massacre ready to happen between these two world-class heavyweight contenders under the leadership of His Excellency Turki Al-Rashid. Who is more likely going to be victorious on the fight night? Provide our final answer to this question. Let's look at this upcoming bout from a purely scientific standpoint by attempting to evaluate both fighters based on some of the exquisite quality that a good boxer should demonstrate, which may be observed in many of the greatest boxers in boxing history, such as the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, Floyd Mayweather, Roberto Duran, Iron Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, just to name a few. These qualities, in my opinion, are both physical and mental, and their full implementation in a fight could be the benchmark for assessing a boxer's performance and a potential fight's outcome. These qualities are speed, conditioning, defense, endurance, punching power, footwork and head movement, ring leadership or intelligence, punching accuracy and precision. Let's start this brainstorming with the speed quality of both fighters. Many of the best boxers in history have been known for their freakish hand speed. Floyd Mayweather and Muhammad Ali are excellent examples of boxers who dominated their opponents with this attribute. One of the reasons why Mayweather's defense was so difficult for opponents to figure out was his laser-fast counters. His hand speed allowed him to counter before opponents could get out of the way. He most likely would have enjoyed the same level of success if his hand speed wasn't so fast. For this upcoming fight, Bakole clearly stands out as the fighter with amazing hand speed, despite his looks as a supersized version of the late old George Foreman. Ajagba, on the other hand, in my opinion, is just as slow as George, if not a few seconds quicker. Therefore, Knockout Kills Boxing News anticipate that Bakole's hand speed and fluidity might be a bit too much enough to outland Ajagba and win by decision should the fight go the distance. Another important attribute to look at is the two fighters' conditioning. By conditioning, I mean how well a boxer can take punches without getting phased out by them. For example, Muhammad Ali's insane conditioning allowed him to use the rope-a-dope strategy during his fight against George Foreman. Ali leaned on the ropes and allowed Foreman to throw all his hardest punches at him, while mostly only covering his head. The strategy worked as Foreman was quickly gets out, and Ali capitalized on this by swarming him and scoring a knockout. This is therefore to say that conditioning goes a long way to helping a fighter secure a victory. Bakole and Ajagba's conditioning going into this fight will be decisive for the outcome of this bout, especially for Bakole. In his last fight against Parker, during which he was brutally knocked out, Bakole came in with an additional weight of 25.6 pounds compared to his previous weight of 284.4 when he fought Gerald Anderson, and he was 10.2 pounds heavier over his weight of 299.8 when he fought the Cameroonian boxer Carlos Takam. He was just 90 pounds away from equaling Tyson Fury's weight-breaking record of 400 pounds, reported when he was facing significant mental issues and was deemed unfit for boxing. No wonder why, therefore, Bakole was easily dispatched by Joseph Parker after he demonstrated, however, some resilience from a previous punch he took well before the final blow on the head that sent him crashing on the canvas in the second round of the fight. He was simply unfit for that fight and shouldn't even have fought in the first place. Moreover, he arrived in Saudi Arabia on short notice with legs that were already gone from the fatigue of a lengthy fight fight on the fight day with no sparring sessions or training. Considering that Bakole has enough time to train and prepare for this upcoming bout with Ajagba, I am anticipating that he will be physically fit and maybe mentally to bang out effectively with Ajagba on May 3rd. Also, Knockout Kills Boxing News expects Ajagba to be in his top physical condition and his typical weight range of 244 to 237 pounds, as evidenced by his previous two bouts against Guido Vinello and Joseph Goudot, which therefore makes it a 50-50 fight in this department. However, the assessment of both fighters' conditioning going to this fight may be subject to change based on development that will transpire during the pre-fight press conference and weigh-in. Now, fight fans, let's now discuss the most intriguing part of this fight between Ajagba and Bakole, which is defense. In boxing, fighters can label themselves as maestros of street science if they haven't mastered defense. Boxing isn't a brawl, no matter how badly some boxing fans might want it to be. It is all about hitting and not getting hit. The only way that is possible is by having a sound understanding of how to defend against punches. In fact, defense in boxing includes footwork, head movement, moving your torso, and using your hands. It also requires a quick reaction times and an ability to anticipate your opponent's next move. A fighter needs to develop the ability to notice patterns in his opponent's fighting style and use that knowledge to set up counters. Counters are one of the most effective ways to throw a boxer off their game plan, since it makes them hesitant to let their hands go. Talking about Ajagba and Bakole as far as defense is concerned, this upcoming fight raises a lot of concerns. Both fighters are simply not defensively sound. Ajagba's defensive skills is as bad as Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder's, maybe a little bit better than Joyce. With no footwork and head movement, Ajagba fights on straight lines and is one-dimensional and lets himself exposed to counters most of the time. With Bakole's fast hand speed and great counter-punching ability, Ajagba might get himself schooled or simply knocked out. It was really baffling to see how Ajagba was clumsily knocked down by the 264-pound Iyako Kiladze in the third round, while he was himself on wobbling legs from Ajagba's early punch, which failed to get him out of there. However, Ajagba has a great chance of causing some great damage to Bakole and even knocking him out as well if he can capitalize on Bakole's insane tendency of not protecting his head at all, boxing with his right hand on his chest and his left hand down. I fully understand that some might argue that it is Bakole's way of luring his opponent to commit to counter, but he is not always successful with this approach, nor is he good at Floyd Mayweather's pull counter. Things sometimes get even more alarming as Bakole sometimes uses his head to block them shots. With a heavy puncher like Ajagba, any shot that lands on Bakole as a result of such negligence might simply shock the boxing world on May 3rd. Therefore, the potential winner of this most anticipated showdown will be the fighter with better defensive skills, punching force, ring intelligence, accuracy, and precision. While I may agree with some boxing fans who view Ajagba as the bigger puncher here, I believe that Bakole's ring intelligence, decent power, counter-punching abilities, accuracy, fast hand speed, and precision are simply world-class and could play out to be the striking winning attributes of Bakole's over Ajagba's limited boxing skill set. So based on this presentation, fight fans, allow me now to draw the following conclusion and make my bold predictions. Considering Ajagba's limited boxing abilities as compared to Bakole's in the various departments of boxing as predicated earlier, Knockout Kills Boxing News would like to believe that Bakole has a better chance of winning this upcoming bout either by knockout or by decision. However, it would be quite unrealistic not also to consider the possibility of Ajagba winning this fight, and the only way this could happen is by knockout. And this could be caused, if ever that happens, by Bakole's conditioning and defense negligence. I strongly believe that Ajagba does not have enough fast hand speed, quick reaction time, and great defense to outbox Bakole should the fight go the distance. Thank you fight fans for being with us till the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please kindly leave us some thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to get notified every time we post a new content. See you in the press conference and weigh-in. I'm out. Peace.